resident parent of a junior. I would like your comments and questions to be part of the recorded public record for this May 25th meeting. Not even a year into her position as superintendent, why was Dr. Dawson put on administrative leave? Was it because of the 100% historic no confidence vote taken by the Minuteman staff with regard to Dr. Dawson and her ability to lead? This is not the first time that this has happened. During her tenure as headmaster at Brighton Public High School in 2009, the staff also gave a 100% no confidence vote in Dr. Dawson. She was employed there 6 months. Was it because of the information disclosed to you, the school committee by the Minuteman staff at the May 11, 2023 meeting relating to Dr. Dawson? Was it because of the open meeting law violation complaints filed by Minuteman staff to the Attorney General's office on March 22nd and May 4th of 2023? Was it because of the student petition stating Mr. Clement, which has received 1,585 signatures to date in response to Dr. Dawson not renewing the beloved principal's contract? Please note there is not one comment posted on that petition in favor of Dr. Dawson and wanting her to remain superintendent. Was it because of the petition Dr. Dawson must resign or be removed as Minuteman superintendent, which has received 727 signatures to date in response to the Minuteman community wanting Dr. Dawson to be terminated as superintendent? There's also not one comment posted on that petition in favor of Dr. Dawson and wanting her to remain as superintendent. Was it because of the allegations of inappropriateness against Dr. Dawson relating to staff and students? Lex Media was on scene for the student walkout that occurred on May 8th, 2023. They published a video on their YouTube channel for the walkout. At 3 minutes, 22 seconds, a student is shown holding a sign that reads, "Stop running my shoulders down." Did the school committee as the hiring body acquire Dr. Dawson's personnel records from Brighton High School during her 6-month tenure there? Did you obtain records which include reports of multiple incidents involving staff and students? When did the school committee know about the disruptions and investigations filed against Superintendent Dawson at Minuteman? And at the December 13th, 2022 school committee meeting, Minuteman teacher Ms. Maynard wrote of her concerns to you with regard to Dr. Dawson. She specifically mentioned that Dr. Dawson bypassed procedure with regard to a student. How did the school committee respond and what action did you take regarding Ms. Maynard's comments? Thank you.
I have a nephew that's a senior, and my son is a junior. I wanted to start out and just take a moment to acknowledge Principal Clement's achievements. To begin, Principal Clement's achievements are far too numerous to fit into a 3-minute speech. A detailed accounting has been submitted for the record. Mr. Clement has been an exemplary leader and advocate for Minuteman. Whether it is success in academics, Skills USA, athletics, college acceptances, and numerous awards, it is Principal Clement that has had a direct and indirect impact on the amount of success here at Minuteman. You cannot separate his personal connection, commitment, and support of the faculty and students to what Minuteman has achieved. In 2009, he was hired to improve literacy. As a reading coach, he built the reading program. He led the executive functioning task force. 2 years after his arrival, the school had its first 100% ELA MCAS pass rate. In 2013, he was a national finalist for the Scholastics All-Star Teaching Award. In 2015, he became assistant principal. Minuteman was having an enrollment problem, and due to legislation, students from out of district were not allowed to enroll. The district was decreased from 16 to 9 towns. Mr. Clement became a fierce advocate for Minuteman. He attended and spoke out at town and civic meetings. He engaged with leadership and policymakers to ensure the best interest of Minuteman was served. As he led these initiatives to enhance the educational and the trade programs, enrollment increased. He set records for recruiting 2 successive classes of 200 students. Mr. Clement fixed the enrollment problem. In 2018, due to his commitment and efforts, Minuteman won the National Blue Ribbon Award. In 2020, while serving as principal, Minuteman was the first and only high school to receive the Massachusetts Reading Association Honors Award for the outstanding literacy program which he developed. In comparing those accomplishments and reputation of Mr. Clement to those of Ms. Dawson, there is no comparison. I was very surprised to find out that Minuteman was not the first school to experience this upheaval in connection to Ms. Dawson. Ours is not the first vote of no confidence held against Ms. Dawson. We are not the first school to file numerous grievances against the actions and behavior of Ms. Dawson. Sadly, concerning charges of misconduct have been filed and brought to the Boston School District Superintendent. There seems to be a pattern here. I don't know what's more concerning to me, the fact that these events happened, or the fact that this committee did not see them and act upon them. Finally,
Michelle.
what became, two sentences.
Okay, great.
The applause, you know.
No, please.
Finally, what began as a student-led petition has garnered the full weight of the faculty, parents, and the entire Minuteman community. What has been presented to you must not be dismissed. It is incumbent upon you to act. I submit from the petition 2,312 more reasons for you to act. If you do not have the desire or courage to act, please step down. Allow someone else to take your seat, and they will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Margaret Murray, a teacher.
My name is Margaret Murray. I'm a teacher. I live in Westford, Massachusetts. I'm reading a letter that was sent on Wednesday, April 26, to the school committee. I do have one question, and I obviously don't expect it to be answered, but it would be helpful to understand something of the timeline. What are the expectations of where this investigation would be concluded? Dear Minuteman School Committee members, it was devastating to learn on Tuesday that our principal's contract would not be renewed. Mr. Clement exemplifies the caring, supportive, community-focused administrator that has built and solidified Minuteman's stellar reputation. His non-renewal, coupled with the departure of the Director of Facilities and the unofficial exit plans of other administrators, is a dangerous exodus that threatens the genuine student-focused culture responsible for Minuteman's amazing reputation. I was fortunate to join this fine district in August 2021 and experience its excellence firsthand. The criteria for evaluating a school district was part of administrator training I had participated in when employed as a database administrator at the Acton-Boxborough School District. The training covered school culture and was taught by a well-regarded superintendent who had mentored the Acton-Boxborough principal who had supervised my internship. The criteria for an outstanding school was 1, a welcoming environment, 2, transparent decision-making, and 3, collaboration. Principal Clement and our administrative team exemplified this welcoming community culture. It is the core of Minuteman's greatness. Please protect our school community from these administrative changes that are disguised as improvements but are in essence dismantling this wonderful school community. I have worked in several school districts, and Minuteman is the only district that has met the criteria for evaluating schools presented in that training. That said, there are always areas where we can improve. Continuous improvement is the only path to ensuring that Minuteman maintains its enviable standing. Please take action to protect our excellent Minuteman community from being destroyed. Thank you.
Next we have Sylvia Stevens. also a parent.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sylvia Stevens. I'm a parent of a Minuteman sophomore, and I'm from Arlington, Massachusetts. I am here in support of Minuteman students and staff and join them in voicing concerns about the ability of Dr. Dawson to effectively serve as superintendent based on a number of her actions, including the choice to not renew Principal Clement's contract. Hearing that teachers were being asked to do even more outside the purview of their contracts by Dr. Dawson without going through the proper channels to negotiate these changes is not good leadership. Ms. Maynard's statement to the school committee about Dr. Dawson's demand for a student to take a test long after the term had ended is concerning and shows Dr. Dawson's lack of professional respect for staff, along with not understanding what it truly means to educate and motivate students. It is understandable that the staff voted no confidence in Dr. Dawson, and if the staff feels unsupported and unheard, we risk losing even more of them to other communities that will treat them like the professionals that they are. Also concerning is hearing students share how uncomfortable they feel around Dr. Dawson because of her behaviors, such as unprompted rubbing of shoulders and backs. During the student walkout, one of the student signs read, "Stop rubbing my shoulders, Kathleen," in reference to these actions. Students should not need to continue to express that these actions make them uncomfortable. Her comments in the Boston Globe describing her actions as, quote, natural, and that, quote, nothing more was intended, only adds to the evidence that she is not mindfully taking others' reactions to her behaviors seriously. Her statement dismisses their feelings, as it is the impact of actions that matter, not intent. It is disrespectful to them and goes against what we're all teaching these young people about respecting personal boundaries. Her removing the word vocational from her email signature has only fueled speculation that she wants to water down and/or eliminate vocational shops. Many families are now concerned that the very reason they came to Minuteman will be taken away. Dr. Dawson could easily clear up this situation with clear communication, but she has failed to effectively communicate. For example, Dr. Dawson has not added a, quote, message from the superintendent to the website since 11/23/22. In contrast, all interactions that I have had with other administration at Minuteman, including Mr. Clement, has been open and respectful to students, staff, and the overall Minuteman community. I have seen Mr. Clement work to set the climate of the school to one that is welcoming, respectful, and encourages them to bring their talents and find personal success. Because of this, I was shocked to hear that Dr. Dawson chose not to renew his contract. The uprising of support from students and staff alike shows what a positive impact Mr. Clement has had on Minuteman as a whole. Our school attracts students that excel in hands-on learning in a number of ways. Some of the ways noted include how many students have competed and medaled in Skills USA competitions, as well as other outside competitions, both co-op and employment opportunities, as in well-established in local industries, as well as acceptance to prestigious pre-college and college programs. These accomplishments cannot be contributed to Dr. Dawson, but to the administration and community that preceded her through years of work. It appears Dr. Dawson is not interested in joining this amazing community with us, but forming a new one. This is why I stand with the staff and students of Minuteman Regional, Vocational, and Technical High School, and ask that the board permanently remove Dr. Dawson and work to secure a contract for Principal Clement for the upcoming school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Catherine Rice Hansen, also a parent from Arlington.
Hello, I am Catherine Reese Hansen from Arlington, and I want to first say that I absolutely agree with the previous comments. And my daughter is a sophomore at Minuteman, majoring in electrical wiring. As a family, we have been very happy with Minuteman, the education she is receiving, and the opportunity she has had to find a passion for electrical work that excites her every shop week. Over the past 2 years, I have been frustrated by the lack of communications to families. I appreciated when we began receiving the daily announcement in email and when Mr. Clement began a weekly email. Those have made a big improvement, but they still are one way and not a dialogue. In our town, Arlington, the school committee and principals routinely have open forums or meetups for information sharing, question asking, concern sharing, celebration of what is going well, and open discussion. I have greatly missed not having these at Minuteman. I applauded Dr. Dawson's listening tour Teach District Town earlier in the year and eagerly awaited her entry plan report. Minuteman is a thriving school that doesn't need fixing. It, of course, does need a plan for continual evolution. Then, after April break, without having seen this entry plan report, it suddenly felt like her vision has been being rolled out without any explanations or discussions with students, staff, and parents. We have suffered amid your silence, with a profound lack of information and acknowledgement, feeling ignored and worried about school leadership, the future of our trade shops, their budgets, and offerings. While the privacy of personnel issues is completely understandable, you can hold an open forum to dispel rumors, provide some information, share the superintendent and your vision for the development of Minuteman over the next few years and decades, and most importantly, ask for feedback from the Minuteman community and incorporate that feedback into your decision-making. I thank Mr. Mahoney for attending the PTA meeting Monday night to offer what little info he could. Going forward, I hope that you all appreciate how much families care about Minuteman and want a dialogue with the administration and our school committee representatives. I encourage you, as our representatives, to meet with your town families, students, and parents every couple of months to share information, get feedback, hear what is going well at Minuteman and what concerns we have. I am sure both parents and students will be concerned over the summer about the status of having a permanent principal and superintendent in the fall, and whether there will be other staffing changes. Please don't wait until the week before school to share information. Please proactively touch base with the community throughout the summer. I also want to note my disappointment with the departure of Dan O'Brien as communications director. As a marketing professional, I was very impressed with the high-quality promotions she created and distributed, highlighting all the great things our Minuteman students accomplish. I am concerned that the negative media reports and chatter over the past month will have a lingering negative effect on enrollment in coming years. Little snippets of info like that linger in memory.
Okay, if I could ask you to wrap up, please.
Considering Minuteman.
Oh, okay,
I'm sorry.
great.
Thank
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next is Shelley, and I may have this wrong, Sachs? Thanks, thank you.
Apologize for my handwriting. First, I don't really have a prepared thing, but I just want to start with some positive things. I am a resident of Lexington. My son is a freshman starting plumbing, and I'm also responsible for the buttons that people. I have no handicraft experience, but I did actually cut out and put together at least 500 plus buttons, and I was out there 3 days, and the kids put them on, so I wore some tonight. I just want to say I'm also responsible for the second change.org petition, which said the departure of let's get rid of Dr. Dawson and bring back Mr. Clement. I'm also responsible for putting up the letter. I got my hands on the letter that he wrote to you just a few days after he found out that his contract was terminated. There was a lot of discussion among parents about, this is a personal issue, this is a private thing, but sometimes when something like this happens, when you get this kind of information, it really needs to be brought out to people and let them see it. And I think we really got a response. Not as many as the first petition to bring back Mr. Clement, but 726 people have signed, alumni, students. There was actually, I'm on the Minuteman Parents Association. Our job is to only to raise money for student scholarships, like the great kids we saw here. And there was actually one parent, one family that said, we sent 2 of our sons to Minuteman. And based on all this disruption, we were thinking about giving money for scholarships, and now we're not so sure. So this is a real concern. And I guess kind of one of the things that, and there's so much about Dr. Dawson, one of the questions is, who was it that told you guys to hire her? Who did the headhunt? I mean, what a terrible job. Just reading, I have a PhD in electrical engineering, and when we write a dissertation, we keep all the ugly wart stuff out, stuff that didn't work, and right there on a table on page 11 are all the times disrupted employment, all the issues that she had. It was right there. You didn't have to look for it. And I'm just shocked. And none of this is at all surprising based on what we know about her. And my question to the school committee is that I'm going to say, when you find another superintendent to do a much better job, and also look at who the headhunters were. If you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire for them to choose her, you should get your money back, because this has just been terrible. I guess thank you. Another question is about timeline, and I really appreciate Mr. Mahoney. We really pushed him on Tuesday to give us a little bit more. He was very professional and said, I can tell you what I can tell you. And I appreciate that. And at the beginning of this meeting, you said, we're here to listen, we want you to act. And one of the really positive things about these last 2 weeks is that I'm getting emails from you saying, we're meeting this night, the next morning, we put her on administrative leave, and now we have Kevin Mahoney. We're going to keep it going, understanding that, you have a certain investigation that's going on, but let's just be realistic. Her contract is from 2025. Are you actually going to renew it? Let's just get rid of her now. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Next is Ellen Lawton.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Lawton. I'm from Arlington, and my son is a senior who's about to graduate in the culinary program. I also have spent my life living in the sending districts for Minuteman, and so I have lots of friends and relatives who are graduates of Minuteman, and I'm a huge Minuteman booster. I'm really alarmed at what has transpired here at Minuteman over the last 9 months. I'm the recent president of the Minuteman Parent Association from 2020 to 2023, and I had the opportunity to observe Mr. Clement and Dr. Dawson in their respective roles. Minuteman has always had challenges fostering community and cohesion because of the nature of the geography. As the Minuteman president throughout the pandemic, I worked closely with the administration to participate in and help lead changes to improve communication and build trust with the parent community. What happened here over the past 9 months with Dr. Dawson blew that trust out of the water, and it squandered tremendous community that we worked hard to build, and I'm upset about it. I detailed in my letter to the committee my direct experience with Dr. Dawson regarding the overdue need to address the racial climate at Minuteman. And that came sparked by a letter, a candid essay by a 2022 Minuteman graduate, Layla Lubin, who submitted an application for a scholarship to the Minuteman Parents Association. And she talked about her experience here as a Black student. And the MPA rallied around her, and we designated a named scholarship for her. And we talked about the need for change in Minuteman. And we met with, over the summer, we met with Dr. Dawson, and we met with other Minuteman leaders, all of whom recognized it was time for some change at Minuteman around issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. In my meeting with Dr. Dawson, I'll say that I observed her skilled presentation around these issues. And I also experienced her becoming rapidly and briefly vicious with me in the course of that meeting. And her reaction was so stark that for me, it lends credence to a lot of the allegations against her. I was a parent and an ally meeting with a student and a superintendent, and she did not treat me with respect. As the MPA president, I had a bird's eye view into Mr. Clement's leadership skills and functioning. I fielded numerous inquiries and complaints from the community and worked with Mr. Clement to resolve a lot of those complaints. He was not perfect. There were areas for improvement, and I'm going to take I need to wrap this up. I know. There were areas for improvement, clearly, but he is a visible, dedicated leader who is open, skilled, transparent, and committed to the school, the mission, and the students. The community trust that he engendered through his leadership during the pandemic was real, and it was irreplaceable.
So what I want to express is, I hope that you'll have the courage to cut your losses while you can, secure her resignation before the reputational and financial losses begin to mount as rapidly as our opposition to Dr. Dawson. Thank you.
We have 4 more speakers, and I would like to be able to get them in, and I understand and appreciate the support between each speakers, but if we can keep that shorter, we'll have time to get everyone in.
There's more in the back. Yeah. There's more people on the sheet in the back. Yes. Everyone should speak.
So we've already used up our time, so what I want to do is to get in the people who I have on this sheet, and then let's see where we're at. So the next person is Danielle Teg. Okay?
Hi, I'm Danielle Tag. I have been a teacher here since 2006. And this is a letter that I sent to the school committee dated May 1st. I write out of concern for the developing and alarming trend regarding the resignation and/or dismissal of several Minuteman administrators. Since the beginning of the 2022-2023 school year, the following administrators have left employment with Minuteman: Erin Norson, Facilities and Business Coordinator; Dan O'Brien, Communications Director; and Rich Eichenen, Assistant Director of Operations and Facilities. In addition, Superintendent Dawson has, as you are aware, recently made the decision to not renew Principal George Clement's contract, and our Director of Information Technology, Victor Woodruff, has just put in notice that he will be leaving at the end of the school year. Rumblings of the unhappiness among the remaining administrators, of which there are now so few, have also been circulating. A single or even a couple resignations could be dismissed as a matter of incompatible visions or perhaps even conflicting personalities, but the numbers here cannot be innocuously explained away. This dangerous trend can best be characterized as yet another indicator of the overall discord between Minuteman and its new superintendent. Since the first week of school, Superintendent Dawson's lack of trust in and disregard for the professional experience and decision-making of the Minuteman faculty has been evident. Final grades that had been issued prior to her employment were made to be changed. During the first week of school, after a single 10-minute observation, judgments about a teacher's use of class time and attention to rigor were formed and shared by the superintendent in front of that teacher's students. Despite outperforming our pre-pandemic scores on the English MCAS, improvement was demanded and simultaneously dissatisfaction implied with the institution of a new school-wide goal. And the examples continue from there. With the departure of our seasoned administrators, I fear an impending trickle-down effect on the faculty, who already feel disenfranchised and disheartened. We will be faced with working for and with a largely unfamiliar administration, an administration that would be led by someone in whom we have at this early stage in her tenure lost all confidence. When our veteran teachers feel no other option than to follow suit and resign in the upcoming months and years, it will be the students and Minuteman's reputation that will suffer greatest. Change is never easy, but I had hoped for Dr. Dawson's leadership at the start, as did many of us. However, it is becoming undeniable that this is not the right fit. Not for the administration, not for the faculty, and most importantly, by extension, not for the students. We ask you, the school committee, intervene now and before Minuteman becomes unrecognizable. That's all.
Okay, next is, and I may have this wrong, Corey Nicholson. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. No, go ahead. Okay.
Hi, my name is Tori Nicholson, and I'm a social worker here at Minuteman. This is the letter I wrote to the school committee on May 12th. I have worked at Minuteman since 2017, which compared to most other staff members is only a short time. To say that is one of the things that attracted me to working at Minuteman would be an understatement. Rarely do you come across a place of employment that has staff who've worked here for their entire careers and continue to love what they do. The community of Minuteman has felt like a home since I stepped in the door, with staff and administrative team who care not only one another, but are willing to do anything and everything for their students. Since new leadership has taken over, Minuteman has undergone changes that have impacted our culture and the core of who we are as a school. Our staff is open to meeting the challenges associated with change, as we have done many, many times before. However, when changes and decisions made behind closed doors threaten to shatter our community, harm the success of our students, and the future of our school, those changes are no longer acceptable. From the loss of Mr. Clement and other administrators to the lack of transparency, respect, and open communication with staff, students, and parents, a harmful precedent is being set. A precedent that no longer represents the ideals and the values of the Minuteman that our districts know and the Minuteman that our students love. The culture and values and school community are why students choose to come here. They are our first priority. The success of our school moving forward and plans and actions of Dr. Dawson do not line up. I hope the appropriate actions are taken to protect Minuteman's community and reputation. Thank you.
Sheila Nagel.
I yield my spot to the union president.
Hi, my name is Diane Dempsey. I'm the Minuteman faculty president, and I have been for many years. And this year, more than ever, have I never been more proud to represent this group. And I'm going to tell you, we are angry with you. Okay? Many of you have been on this committee for many more years than I've even been employed. I've been here for 20 years. The fact that you people continuously, unanimously approve every vote you take means you are not listening and having proper debate, okay? 100% of us voted unanimously, no confidence in that superintendent. You guys, we deserve better from you. Michael Ruderman, you fell asleep in one of the last meetings. You were woken up by your committee members and instantly was told to vote yes, and you did. What does that say to your member towns? It's insulting to everybody else who might have been listening, and it's insulting to the families, the teachers, and the kids. We are here to ask you to do better. On May 11th, we actually had Pam, Steve, and Alice listen to the Minuteman Faculty Association for the first time. Rarely do we ever go before you with any issue. We keep it in-house. Anytime we've gone before you, you have ignored us. You have chosen not to look right at us like you're doing now. And we're insulted. It's time for you guys to take responsibility for selecting the superintendent with no background check. Because today I spoke with the former president of Boston Public Schools. He was there for 14 years. He said, there's no reason that you guys couldn't have found this information. Do better.
We have one more person who has signed up on the sheet.
Floor open, keep the mic open, folks, keep it
Excuse
open.
me.
Y'all need to be heard.
We have one more person who has signed up on the sheet, Stephanie Attinger de Cuba. So let's have Stephanie speak, and then we'll move on to the rest of the business of the committee. So thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Stephanie Edgar-Nakua. I'm a parent, live in Arlington. My son is a junior here, and I have an incoming freshman as well, so I will be part of this school community for several years to come. I first want to start with something positive. I want to say that the school has been a transformative experience for my son. Regular school was incredibly difficult and not working for him, and he has turned into a confident, happy young man at this school, in much in part due to the fabulous teachers that we have here and the incredible welcoming atmosphere where all kinds of skills are valued. So that cannot change, although it has been. I also want to second everything that has been said by all of the parents and the teachers tonight. It is incredibly important that you do listen and act, make change. I did meet with Dr. Dawson along with another parent to discuss the racial climate here, to discuss diversity, equity, and inclusion at the school. That is an area of improvement that is needed. And we thought that we had some good action steps. I'm not sure that any action was taken. We had very concrete items that were discussed at that meeting, and I think that's where it stayed, which was enormously disappointing on that front. In addition, I also want to bring up what actually Shelley brought up as well around the school committee. I want to understand how she was chosen. And my question is, and I understand you can't discuss personnel details. I'm a manager myself, and I get that. But I would like from this investigation an understanding of not just what has happened, but an investigation of how she was chosen and what that process was and where the holes were and how it happened, so that when you're going forward, you have a different process, because clearly that was a failed process and it needs to change. So that is the communication in addition to all the other things people have mentioned, but that is the communication that also needs to happen. And it needs to happen, as was said, before the next school year. Yes, and I think the other thing that I just wanted to say and underscore along with everything else everyone else has said was that we need transparency in those findings. Can't be something that, oh, we've made a decision, that's it. It needs to be communicated out, and it needs to be communicated out in detail, not high level. Thank you very much.
Are there no more speakers that can speak, or are you going to allow them to speak? Because I think that would be so important.
Hi, so the school committee does have certain rules that we need to follow. Yeah, so let me just explain right now. So we had, I'm just trying to explain to everyone where we are. So we had set aside a certain amount of time for public comment. We extended that for tonight. We've extended it for this meeting. We do have some very important, some timely business that we need to get to tonight as well.
Finance report, executive session, and.
So, right, so.
Can we take some time out of that?
So what we need to do is to get to our business. You know, can you?
I'll be under a minute.
Right. So let me just say, I will allow the gentleman that is standing at the mic to speak, but after that, I do have something, I do want to acknowledge all the people who have spoken, and then we will get to the rest of the agenda for the meeting. So I will turn it over to the gentleman at the mic.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me? My name is Kevin Sharon. I've been teaching at Minuteman since 2006. I actually started a week before Ms. Tagg, who spoke a few people ago, but I'm going to do a little different approach. I wrote a public comment in support of George Clement, but this is something a little different. So just bear with me. Not to sound redundant, but based on my childhood experiences, I have generally learned not to trust others. Over the years, I have learned to trust certain people on certain things up to a point, especially in my personal life, but even less so in my professional life. Based on my life stories analyses, I seem to act like a know-it-all in the belief that I have all the answers and others necessarily do not. This is not a conscious decision, but regardless of intent, my actions must come across in that way. And my belief that I do know best automatically reduces the status of others' knowledge. Adding to this, I recognize my colleagues' weaknesses and vulnerabilities and immediately lose respect for them due to their incompetence. At least that is how I perceive it. Such an attitude absolutely does not allow for respectful exchanges. Also, based on my perspective of their incompetence, I often do not allow my colleagues to assume the responsibilities of their roles. As the leader, I do not create opportunities that would allow relational trust even to start. Was it bad that I needed so little support? Was it detrimental to my leadership development that I was successful in all that I was doing? Was my success nurturing this subconscious belief that I had all the answers and knew best? Again, I did not think about this back then. It is a thought that returns to me now as I reflect on how those years compared to the ones that followed. Would I be authentic if I were not consciously acting as though I knew best? At that time, I was doing the best that I could do for the team in the best interest of the students. And then one more piece. I worked as an assistant headmaster for a few years before I learned about a 3-year doctoral program at Boston College. It would allow me to keep on working and attend classes on weekends and during the summer. It sounded perfect and the tuition was reasonable. I applied and was accepted. It was a cohort model. After a couple of months of classes, I found myself sitting in the back of the class. While sitting there, I looked around and asked myself, what was I doing at a non-Ivy League institution? How did I go from Harvard to BC? In addition, BC had a limited reputation outside the region. As an executive model, I wanted to attend a university that had a quality reputation and high standards, at least higher than those at BC, so I dropped out. So these are not my comments. These are from Dr. Dawson in her dissertation, which reads more like a manifesto to me. Page 163, 134, and 123. I just thought that would be more effective, so thank you.
Okay, I want to thank all of you for being here, and I want to thank you for your comments. I do appreciate them. As I said, we're here to listen. I heard people say, hey, we want more than listening. We want action as well. I heard a lot of themes about accountability, themes about communication. As we said, this is not our opportunity to engage on the public comment that we've heard, but it is our time to take it, and then as we move forward, to be incorporating it into our planning. And, you know, I will say that we will be incorporating it into our planning as we move forward. So again, I want to thank you all for being here. And I'd like to ask at this point, we do need to move on to, because we do have some important votes that we have to be taking tonight. So we do want to move on to the rest of our meeting. Okay. Okay, next thing on the agenda is the chair's report. And I do want to announce that okay, can you not hear me? Okay, so this mic went off. Now, can you hear? Yes, now. Can you hear? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And I'd like, I will go through the items on the consent agenda. If anyone would like anything else, please just call out. The draft minutes of March 28th, 2023.
That one should.
Okay, is this one working now? Okay, so I had said the draft minutes of March 28th, 2023. Draft minutes of April 11th, 2023. Approval of the list of monthly donations.
Hold.
Okay, we'll hold the list of monthly donations. Could I have a motion to approve the draft minutes of March 28th?
For the March 28th minutes, I submitted one edit of spelling.
Okay, we're going to take all three items separately.
Okay.
Okay, so could I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 28th with a spelling correct?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Is that unanimous? Yes. Okay, could I have a motion for the approval of the draft minutes of April 11th,
So moved.
2023? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, could I have a motion for the approval of the list of monthly donations?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Madam Chair, can we accept a donation of services? The vendor's invoice puts a price tag on it, which we have no independent verification for.
We will evaluate that donation, seek guidance from the area, the technical area or the vocational area that is from. And we have done that in the past. We're reluctant, however, to provide a letter to the IRS placing a value on that item.
IRS does not acknowledge donation of services with any value.
Can you say, Michael, I didn't hear you.
IRS rules do not allow for the, crediting any value to a donation of professional services. You just can't call it a donation. If we sign a letter saying they donated this, they're likely to turn around and I don't know what they'll use it for, but you can't donate services.
We'll make the change.
Which item is this?
Sorry, this is the vendor from Jay Barry for various things relating to prom.
We'll make that change and classify it appropriately.
Okay, with that change in the list of monthly donations, are there any other comments? Then could we vote on approving the list of monthly donations as amended? Jeff?
I was voting.
Oh, you're voting, you're already voting?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of the list of monthly donations as amended? Okay, and again, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay.
We didn't have a motion as amended. That's how we did.
Okay, we need to, since we amended the list, we need, and we need a formal motion for the amended
I
list.
move the motion as amended.
Could I have a second? Okay, now all in favor. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, for the good of the organization, you have your hand up. Ward, go ahead.
Thank you, Pam. A couple of weeks ago, I got a call from our friend Steve Sherrick, who Steve used to be at Minuteman, and he is now, I think, the executive director of MAVA. As his position, it's my understanding that Senator Cronin, and unfortunately, I don't know what district he represents, but he submitted a budget amendment number 771 to have admissions for all vocational schools to be on a lottery basis. And they were very concerned about that. They asked if I could help put them in contact with Representative Denise Garlick, who's from Dover, where I'm from, and Needham, because she is now the co-chair of the Education Committee on the House. And that happened. We put them together. We had a meeting, but I can't take credit for this. But I gather yesterday, Senator Cronin withdrew his amendment. The plea was basically from MAVA. It should not be in the budget as an amendment where it would receive no discussion. It's very important to have discussion. So it will be brought back up. And it's going to be brought back up as a separate bill, Senate Bill 257. And it is, again, the same request is to have all vocational education admissions done by lottery. I agree. It's not good. But there's a hearing on June 12th, which will be dealing with that lottery. So anyone that would please contact their senator or rep and express your opinions. And if you want to go to the hearing, I'm sure you will. I don't know if you'll be able to speak, but at least you'll be able to be there. MAVA is taking an extremely active role in putting together a speakers group that will go and speak. I just will say from a personal point of view, education by lottery is not something that I have ever approved or thought of. It's just by chance education is not right. But nevertheless, there's a huge waiting list to get in almost all vocational schools. When I spoke to Representative Garlick and the group, I basically said what we need to do is try to find more money that could go to the MSBA and encourage more districts, more schools like Minuteman throughout the Commonwealth, because I think it's sorely needed. But that is my report.
Judy. No.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, I don't have a working one. Okay. Thank you for it. I just wanted to give a shout out to the horticultural students who volunteered at the annual Lexington plant sale, which was held last Saturday. It happened before the rain, luckily. The students were very enthusiastic. They shared their knowledge with those who were attending. There were lots of smiling faces. So I really just wanted to say thank you to those students. And also, I just want to give a shout out to the seniors, today being their last day, except for a few fun items on the schedule. So a week from tomorrow, we get to celebrate their 13-year public school journey. So looking forward to witnessing that honor. So thank you.
Anyone else? I am very happy to announce the ratification of a 3-year collective bargaining agreement with the Minuteman Faculty Association. And I want to acknowledge and thank the members of the school committee negotiating team and members of the Faculty Association who worked together to come to agreement on this contract. At this point, we will turn it over to Kevin Mahoney for the acting superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As far as items A and B, I'll defer to Anthony Chicarello to bring the committee up to date.
It's probably the middle. That one's being used for Zoom, I think. Is that right? Nope, that. Okay, oh, I guess over there.
I got the thing up there.
Are the slides up there? Are they up there?
All right.
True, are they?
So first is just where we're at in terms of admissions. So I think you'll all be happy to see that our waiting list is down to 6 students.
Hold on a second.
Oh, my-
I'm gonna just ask if school committee members want to move forward in order to see the slides.
Sure.
To encourage people to do that.
Yeah, it's up here on the big screen for folks. So as I was saying, so the waiting list, as we anticipate, as it always does, as admissions is a fluid process, is down to 6 students. From my experience, my hope will be that that'll be down to 0 students by the time the school year starts. And we actually have like 3 students from our member communities who missed the deadline, who we might even be able to sneak them in before the school year starts, which is always what we want. As much as a waiting list is nice in terms of the demand, what's most important is that the young people from our member communities have access to this amazing educational experience. So like I've talked to you all about in the past, we try to come in on the first day of school with 189 students. And so we play a little bit of numbers games in terms of, like, right now we have 191. It will change. That's just how this process always plays out. But it's obviously good news. The more kids we have from our member communities and the less we have on the outside looking in, the better it is. I don't know if the school committee has any questions, because the next part is just about the new student and family orientation, which is not numbers based. I know you have to ask them from your microphones. And then I don't have a slide I don't think I have a slide for this yet, but so feel free if you guys want to sit down, it's up to you. So on May 6th, on Saturday, May 6th, we hosted our new family and student orientation. The new student and family orientation is actually 2 events that happen in parallel. So we have our families who come, and that sometimes it's parents, sometimes it's grandparents, uncles, aunts, because they want to see the building and this amazing place that our students get to go to school in. So we had 160 of those families that were listed up here attended on that Saturday, which is fantastic. So the parent portion of it is they get to listen to our lead teachers talk about our academic programming, as well as Ms. Dempsey talks about scheduling and guidance supports. Our special education leads talk about the special education supports, and we talk about athletics, clubs, activities, and all that stuff. So it just, in transportation, which frankly is the thing that most families end up having questions about in the long term. After that, Courtney Zwarn and Meenakshi Singhal had organized through the MPA a group of parents, and Courtney is the MPA vice president from Arlington, and Meenakshi Singhal is the parent of a sophomore from Lexington. And they had a group of current parents here to kind of be part of a little meet and greet with a catered breakfast from our culinary arts department and from our students who were also supporting that. And then the final part of that day for the parents and the families was quick, very large group tours through the building led by our student ambassadors who give the best tours in the business. And on the other side, we had our students, our future students, going through. We had our first class meeting to start. They had some breakfast. Then we went out and it was a combination of students taking their diagnostic assessments in math and writing, and then also doing some community building activities as well. We've been doing our testing from home for since the pandemic started, but with the advent of PhotoMath and ChatGPT, we just wanted to ensure the integrity of their scores so that they're placed in classes that are going to challenge them and support them. So we had 11 teachers here facilitating those assessments on a beautiful Saturday morning. We had Josh, who's in our IT department, and 3 of our student interns in there as well, supporting the technology of that day. And it's just a massive undertaking with all those different moving pieces happening at the same time. But because of our teachers and our students, because our teachers are good at being flexible and adaptable in any situation, that's what they do every day. And so that's why that event went really smoothly. And I think families were really happy. I would tell you, since you're the school committee, you should know that we also got questions that day about, what's going on at the school, wanting some reassurance on the situation, both with the superintendent and principal. And I'll just tell you that the only thing I shared on that day, and I want to make sure that you hear that as well, is that the reason I am confident as we move forward is because of the people who are here tonight and who are not here right now, and all the work that they do for our kids, because that's the one constant I know will remain and will support our kids, which is the most important thing. So that was, in the short term, definitely, I think, helpful, but I think in the long term, it's going to be questions that are going to continue to come up. So it was a fantastic day. It was a beautiful day, and our students and our staff shined as they always do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anthony. I really appreciate that.
Madam Chair, I'd like to just follow up the remaining items on the agenda for the superintendent's report. Our annual town meetings, I'm pleased to report that our budget passed unanimously. All 9 towns voted approval of the budget for next year and their assessments. And I'd like to publicly state that on behalf of the school committee, we appreciate the support we received through this budget season, and we're very grateful for that support. The next item is the school choice vote. This is a vote we take annually to not participate in the school choice program. A vote would be in order.
Could I have a
Moved as written in the agenda.
second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, because people often forget why it is that we take this vote, that the tuition for school choice has not been changed since 1993, and it is $5,000. And that is the reason why the school committee annually votes not to accept school choice students. And if you don't vote and put the information to the department by June 1st, you are defaulting to accepting $5,000 as a tuition payment. So that's why we do it.
Okay. Any other comments? Have to look down both sides here. Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Unanimous.
Next item is the acceptance of the academic school calendar as presented. Vote is required.
Could I have a motion to approve the 2023-24 academic school calendar as presented?
Second.
Any discussion? Judy.
Thank you. I just want to point out that this year graduation's on June 2nd. Next year, it'll be June 7th. So it's a full week later. So it's another week of school. It's just Something to look at. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor? Okay, and it's unanimous.
Final item under the acting superintendent's report is the approval of the contract to reappoint Dr. Andonian as the district physician.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve the contract for the reappointment of Samuel Andonian, MD, as district physician?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion? Jeff?
Okay, so I recall on many occasions voting for nurses, less often voting for physician. Now, where is this doctor actually located? And do we know how many times approximately during the year that we actually use his services? Just curious how it operates. Do we have that information?
Dr. Pearl has the information.
Wherever you
that-
please.
well, I think that the mic over there works.
Knock it real hard against something, that might make it work.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. So Dr. Andonian has his practice in Lexington Center. He's been with us, as long as I've been here. He writes all of our standing orders for all of our over-the-counter medications. He comes in and does sports physicals as needed. He consults with us whenever we have a question. He was very helpful during all of COVID, everything. So he basically is, I wouldn't say at our beck and call, but he is at our disposal as we need him.
Perfect answer. Thank you.
Michael? Okay, any other questions or discussion? All in favor? And it's unanimous. Okay, now we're moving on to the finance report.
Yes, Madam Chair, in your packet was included a letter from the chair of the Minuteman District Retirement Board, Laurie Elliott, who also serves as the district treasurer to the school district. And in compliance with MGL Chapter 32, Section 103, subsection C, this is a requirement by the requirement of the retirement board to notify the governing body, that being the school committee, of their intent to vote a consumer price index increase at their meeting, which took place yesterday. I don't know what the result was, but historically that vote is a 3% increase on the first $14,000 of eligible retirement allowance. It's just a notification. No vote is required.
Okay, any questions? Nope. Yes, Alice.
Is there another similar announcement that we had? Well, you wouldn't know because you weren't here, but I feel like there was another similar 3% on the first 14,000 for some other group earlier in the year. Is there another group?
I'm not aware of that. I can look into it, but this is an annual vote that we take here, so.
Okay, thank you.
And then also included in your packet was a request for budget transfers. It basically breaks down into 3 sections. There's a transfer to cover some bond anticipation note interest on a $2.8 million band. We had budgeted for a shorter term, but because of the extension of closing out the building project, we had to extend the term of our temporary borrowing, which required the additional interest cost. We reallocated funds to purchase new freshman laptops of $142,000. And we also reallocated $31,374 to transfer and purchase new computers for programming and web development. I would note that these were reviewed at the school committee of the finance subcommittee meeting, not the last meeting, but the prior meeting. And I'd ask that the board vote to support these transfers.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve the third quarter general fund year-end budget transfers as presented? So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Or comments?
Finance Committee voted in favor of these transfers.
Okay, if nothing further, all in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I could make one more comment for the Finance Subcommittee before we move off this item. The fact that all of the towns in our member district approved our budget is no small accomplishment. And I wanted to thank the extensive efforts that Dr. Dawson put into preparing that presentation that was taken to all of the town meetings in the town, and especially our business manager, Nikki Andrade, who bare days before giving birth was there on the floor of town hall for the Arlington town meeting to go through the particulars herself. It was in many ways a bravura performance.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, at this point, I'd like a motion to enter executive session and to return to open session, attending school committee members, Kevin Mahoney and Julia Pasigna. And the reason is for the following: pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, for the purpose of discussing strategy as it relates to negotiations with non-union personnel, the business manager and director of special education.
So moved.
Okay, because this is a motion for entering executive session, we need to do a roll call by town. So why don't I start down on my left with Erica?
Erica Alzey, Bolton, yes.
Judy Crocker, Lexington, yes.
Ford Spalding, Dover, yes.
Pam Nurse-Acton, yes.
Alice DeLuca, Stowe, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, we're going to retire to executive session in the superintendent's conference room, and we will be coming back here after. Okay, we have everyone together. I'd like to call to order this, our return to open session. Could I have a motion to approve the 3-year employment contract between Minuteman Regional Vocational Technical School Committee and the business manager for the period commencing July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2026?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Whoops, any discussion? Michael? Did you have your hand? No, oh, getting ready to vote. All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the employment contract for the Director of Special Education? A motion to approve the 3-year employment contract between the Minuteman Regional Vocational Technical School Committee and the Director of Special Education for the period commencing July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Any discussion? With much gratitude. Okay, all in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Yay.
We're very happy.
We're very, very happy.
Very happy.
Thank you.
Very happy.
Thank you very much. I know you can't see me smiling here, but I am. Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Thank you, everyone.